Kuburi yaka abuile pampiri e o itseng ya ditiro tse re buang ka tsone sa gore rona le ba mmaene re kopana yang go thusa morafe wa gago wa Bakubung ba Ratheo le go dira botsalano o botletseng magareng ga rona Bakubung ba Ratheo le Bakubung mine ke se re kopanyang ka jeko se re kopanya go dira mesebetsi gore batho ba kry mesebetsi ba kry ditšhono tsa go dira dikgwebo ka mogare ga moepo ke yone re tletseng ka jeko. So I can now speak in English because I've already spoken to my boss first. It's look, the relationship or the marriage between Bakubung ba Ratheo and Wesizwe, the partnership started in 2003. That's how far it went. Before Mr. Lee came, it was other people. Before we've got Jin Chuang coming in and becoming the largest shareholder. When we met in 2003, it was about them taking over, buying the land and doing the mine in the land. But then Bakubung ba Ratheo as a community leader, what we did was to say, look, we're not going to sell you the land. We are the children of the soil. This is our land. What we want to do with you is to partner with you. We'll bring the land as an asset and partner with you as investors who are going to explore that land. Now that was a 2003 type of an agreement. Now in that agreement, which also was ratified in 2005 when Wesizwe was listed, the year 2005, then what we said was, look, what does the partnership entail? One is that people who are coming in as investors in the partnership will do exploration, get what is underground, but then the community, you need to give them something that they will live with. What is that? One, it's issues of employment. Let them go in and employ, because there's a lot of issues. There's unemployment, poverty, etc. in South Africa as a history. Two, then you'd also want what we call empowerment and transformation of the citizens and residents of Lida. And then how do we go to get to that? Now that empowerment, we said to the mine, not only employ them, but let's also give them opportunities to develop themselves. Entrepreneurs, go in there, let's take them to school, let them be geologists, let them be accountants, etc., etc., so that they can be at the forefront of the mine. The important thing to us was let them also be in the management of the mine, whilst also the board of the mine is being occupied by other members of the community. So it was a rough understanding. It was put in the partnership agreement by then in 2005. Now fast forward, you have now Jin Chuang as the largest shareholder. We have other people coming in who are also shareholders. But then the discussion started again to ensue to say, but there was a partnership agreement, there was interactions and engagements. What do we do now? Because there was just the discussions amongst ourselves. How do we formalize this and go forward? We want to thank Mr. Lee in his capacity as the CEO, because he was able to understand. One, he had a one-on-one bilaterals with Kosi. There was what we called bilaterals to start refining and discussing what we meant by that partnership. And we want to thank other colleagues also who are in the management of the mine, because whilst our principals were discussing, we said, but we need to also have another parallel discussion that will also inform the discussions of our principals. And that was a good thing. That's when people like Kosi came on board with Bakubung internal stakeholders. Mr. Chilwane then was appointed. I know he was not there when we started. Then he was appointed into Wesizwe. Those discussions started now to bear the fruit. We had people like KK by then who came in. We had people like Ntate Komo and others, Gordon and others who were there before. Now, and they moved on. today, when we had to finalize the discussions, then we had other colleagues who came in. I've got a bad memory in terms of names, but I don't know. I call him Muruti. He'll forgive me. Then we had Muruti joining us from the plant. KK is still there. TT is still there. Then we were blessed to have Johnny Mshiniwam coming in also as part of the 4-a-side team. Now, with that and them and us and Vusi, then we had to say, look, let's develop a program. The program that will inform this partnership. The program that will speak to projects and programs. Those programs and projects will be able to assist and develop, herald these issues of empowerment of the community members. Now, this is what it is. And ladies and gentlemen, it was not an easy. It was through blood and sweat that this document that we are going to talk about today that you see. At some stage, it was like, you know how it was. In South Africa, we have a history, Mr. Lee, when there was in Kempton Park, when there were discussions bringing in, there was a political party called AWB by then. AWB, ANC, you can imagine bringing them all into one space. And the AW people came with the horses. And when I say this, I'm starting to panic. That's why I was worried when we came with horses and came into the Kempton Park Hall to say, hey, that's another language that we use here. He knows what I'm talking about. So now, we had such a type of discussions. Now, we want to say thank you also, and that's a purpose, to be honest. Thank you to Mr. Lee. Thank you to the management team, and thank you to the executive of Wesizwe for having realized that what we have done, it's a good document that we came across with, or the program that we brought on, and they went to go and approve it. So we are here because our program has been approved. Now, this program being approved, we want it to be signed with commitment, to say it's approved, it's signed with commitment, and it's going to be implemented. Now, the signing today will also take us to the implementation of the document. The document on its own, it speaks about, as we said, it speaks about opportunities that are there in the mind, business opportunities, any other opportunities that are there, learnerships, bursaries. It speaks about employment in the mind. And we are only saying, we are talking about this as us as the host community, because we are saying the mine is on the land of Kgosi Solomon Pupute. Now he's the host. Now Kgosi Solomon Pupute says, my subjects need to benefit out of this land. Now that document will be talking to that benefiting of the subjects of Kgosi Solomon Pupute. So we are signing that program, and that program today will be taking us through. It will be helping us to work together going forward as far as empowerment, transformation is concerned. It also talks about socio-economic development of the area leader. There are issues that we are also engaging on the other sides to say there's an infrastructure development that we must do in the area, in the leader village. Your issues of water we started, and we are happy that we started the issues of water TT before it was even a fashion in Hammanskraal and cholera. So we are leading in South Africa. We must clap hands for Kgosi because he's leading with the water thing. He started the borehole system before it could be what they are talking now. Now the whole of Gauteng is talking about the borehole systems. Now that's where Wesizwe is coming in. It's not the first time that Wesizwe will come in, but part of this program and the document that we are talking about today is also going to talk about those infrastructural development, which is water. We're going to look into the streets. Of course, it will touch on the social labor plan. How will the social labor plan shape up so that it can be a social labor plan that community members own it? Not only the social labor plan of the mine. It's not about the mine is going to do things for us. Today we are starting a new chapter that says, us as Bakubung Ratheo community and Bakubung Platinum Mine, this is what we are going to do for the benefit of us. If we are happy as the community, the mine will be happy. People, the investors will take the money. line their pockets with the money and go will have been developed also on ourselves, but also line a little bit with the money also. They can't take everything, of course. I know media should not take that statement, but they can't take, Mr. Lee, you can't take the whole money. There's supposed to be a little bit that you little leave for us, you know, Jose and other people who are entrepreneurs. So this is the program that we are talking about today. So we are happy today that we are coming here today to introduce, and that's a reality today, that to introduce today the program of action. Let's call it a program of action. As we say, it's an action that will be able to solidify the relationship between us and the mine, but also be able to address challenges that are there in the community and be able to come with solutions into that. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to say to you today, this ceremony that we are doing, it's a ceremony. It's an unprecedented in the history of the mines in South Africa, in the history of the communities in South Africa. And I think we should be happy and give ourselves some pat on the shoulder for doing things. Thank you very much.
When Repologane said it was not an easy journey in the engagements and the meetings that we had prior this gathering, we also had members, friends, colleagues, that we were working with them, sleepless nights, early hours of the morning, you know, the whole day engaging. Some of them, they left in terms of, you know, going to work elsewhere and so forth. But I must say that these people, had it been them also forming part of this and understanding what we need to achieve, we wouldn't have achieved what we wanted. So some of the members that started this four-aside committee, but I would like also to acknowledge Ntate Gordon Mosesane. Gordon Mosesane used to be the chief engineer at the mine, and then but during that process he was the acting general manager, leading with this engagement. I would also like to acknowledge Mr. Alex Pereira, the former finance GM of Wesizwe, also was very, very crucial and pivotal in this engagement. And then there was a gentleman also by the name of Kenneth Homu, who was the procurement manager at Wesizwe. And then there is a gentleman by the name of Linda Mzelem. We started with him. He's still part of us. I think now he's now in the background, supporting the Bakubung internal stakeholders. With him, we still engage because he's running the administration of the internal stakeholder. Therefore, we also had a gentleman by the name of Devald Terry Blanche, who also came in as soon as Gordon Mosesane has left. He was the GM as well for the mine. So these are the people that honestly I think it will be unfair for us not to acknowledge their contribution and their understanding. And then happens Ntate from the other side of the office of Hosi, who was also very, very pivotal to this engagement. So that was the original four-aside committee. But the people having left, we didn't want to do away with the concept, of which now this is what I'm going to explain. So the four-aside committee came out as an initiative that was brought forward to the leadership. Our principals, Hosi, the CEO, by the then acting DG, the Director General, Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, Ntate Tsidiso Maqobela. Hence, we also wanted them to give a word of support today. If it wasn't for them, bringing us together and giving us ideas, we would still be sitting very apart, maybe by today. So, we established this four-aside plus one committee. So, 4 members representing the community, 4 members representing the mine, plus 1 member representing the DMRE. but Bona, they were gonna just be acting as ex officio in the restructuring of executives and so forth. By virtue of them being there, they wouldn't be contributing, but just mediating and seeing that things are happening. So this foresight committee is the one that brought us here after they have developed and then requested our principals to approve what has been developed. As we are sitting here today, the members of this particular committee I'm talking about, I happen to be one of them, myself, Tertius Chilwane. And then now, as you have heard, there were former acting GMs and the GMs were part of this. We have roped in, again, our newly appointed GM to be part of the foresight from the mine site. His name, Tate John Beneke, sitting right at the edge of the table. And then from the mine site also, we still have Tate Kekeletso Kure. Tate Kekeletso Kure is the HR manager at the mine. And then in addition to Tate Kekeletso Kure, not in addition to you, but as part of the committee, Renalen Tate Tumi Timelo Molapo, who is the plant manager. Bakubung Platinum Mine. As you can see from the mine site here, we are 4, but we are not really limiting ourselves to 4 heads of people, because some of the things we also need ideas from other members. There are still other people who are representing the procurement department who form part of the committee, and then there's also other people who are representing the engineering part of the operations at the mine. The gentleman for now that we are engaging with, Kentate Karabo Mutivi, who is the acting procurement manager in his absentia, Ukupile Maitwarelo, mining. And then also we have Mr. Lebu Mulefi, who is now the engineering manager. Is also requested to be excused for today due to other engagement. So ladies and gentlemen, the foresight committee has done its work. The intention, or not the intention actually, but what needs to happen now going forward, this committee is not gonna disintegrate. It has done a wonderful job. We hope that it will be doing a wonderful job going forward, Mr. Lee. For now, its duty will just to ensure that whatever that has been put on the document gets implemented, gets monitored, gets evaluated, and then gets reported to our principals, because it cannot be done behind the corner or behind it, under the table and so forth. Now it is becoming a public document. So this particular committee, it will now develop its own terms of reference of going forward. How do we engage and monitor the implementation? So things might have been said in the document, but the engagement going forward are not only limited to what will be signed today. As the relationship goes forward, it comes a long way. 2003, it's quite a long way. If I count, it's 20 years today from 2003. So there's no way that we can say that relationship of 20 years, 2 decades, and then we let it slip through the fingers. So we will push it for another 2, 3, or even 5 decades, so that even the legacy can be left to the offsprings. Then this. I would like to take this opportunity, Jose and Mr. to thank this committee for the work that they have done, for the time that they have spent, and then not necessarily not saying that they didn't have time or other things to do. No, they had quite a lot of things to do. You know, Mr. Lee, the mining is a busy thing, but you allowed the employees to engage on this particular committee. With the continuation and the members of the committee from the community side, representing the office of Hosi, which is the one that is representing the community as well. Still members of this community. After I've acknowledged the ones that are not part of this, we still have Ntate Sele Polokgane, affectionately known as DJ, DJ Polokgane. We do have Ntate Stole at the corner. He's a new member of the Foresight Committee under the Bakubung internal stakeholder. And then also we have Ntate Vusimkosi, who is sitting there next to Ntate Polokgane. Liena, he remained a member, he's still a member. Kiena, the chairperson, ya Bakubung internal stakeholder. We also have Ntate Dlamini in his absentia. I think Liena, he has put in an apology. So he's also part of the team. These are the ones that now are engaging to take this matter forward. The reason why we say we don't want this committee to be disintegrated is because, Mr. Lee, we know people move. It's not static. And then if this matter has been put forward, it is known by our principals, it is known by other people, and then there is no need to say tomorrow Mr. Polokgane doesn't want to participate anymore, and then we say no, we collapse, we don't want to engage anymore. When KK doesn't want to form part anymore due to other reasons, then we say it collapse. Johnny decides not to engage, we say it collapse. So we are not fixed to these faces that you see today, but will be fixed to the numbers that will be brought forward by each and every stakeholder to ensure that there is continuation, which is very key to the whole process. I would also want to appreciate the stakeholder relations department of the mine for having contributed in making sure that these gatherings get properly organized. People come in, we meet, there is engagement and capturing and all that kind of stuff. If it wasn't for them also, we wouldn't have reached the state where we are. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thought in terms of the Foresight Committee plus one, I have, clarified or a committee and so forth and going forward. So I will pause there as we will be going into the next item, where we will also get advice as how do we approach this one. But DMRE has blessed us to continue. What is going to happen as the Foresight Committee is that after our principals and other witnesses have attached their signatures to this particular document, as we have started with DMRE, we will take it upon ourselves as the Foresight Committee and then request a special meeting with the department to go and present to them the document that has been approved by our principals, so that they can also have it and then make sure that should there be any issues that they will need to guide us and advise us, because we don't want to leave them out of this. They will forever form part of us unless they decide they don't need that plus one anymore. But this plus one stands for the MRE. So that is what will be happening immediately after this. It can be next week or so when they have time. Then we will organize, then we will inform our principals that we have an appointment with the MRE to go and present the document as it would have been signed. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll pause here and be guided if we continue directly to our superiors, or there is anyone. I would love if there is anyone from the members of this Foresight Committee, just to stand up and say, yes, indeed, I'm one of this committee.
So my job is very simple. It's just to attest to what the previous speaker has spoken about, or the previous speakers have spoken about. We come from far. The engagements were robust. At some stages, you know, we spent lots of late nights together, coming towards the finalization of the document. So I would just like to attest to what my colleague has said, that indeed the committee exists, and the committee exists for the benefit of both the mine and our host community of Lidach. The issues contained in the document are very critical issues. Issues of bread and butter issues, issues of employment, which is very, 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 very critical. Issues of business opportunities for our host community. We have pledged as the mine through the committee to offer our support, our unconditional support to the community through the committee. The committee is a very important vehicle for communication both ways. So with that said, and Tate Chilwane, I rubber stamp what you said. I attest to the existence of the committee, and I attest to the mission of the committee. So thank you very much, colleagues. Thanks.
So without wasting any time, the next agenda here, it will be an input. An agenda item, it will be an input by the Deputy CEO, Mr. Lee, representing Mr. Longzo, our CEO, in his absentia, who blessed and authorized this engagement to take place, and then wanted us to also conclude on this matter. But it's Mr. Lee who will say all that in giving his word and then his remarks about this wonderful engagement, this wonderful relationship, and then this wonderful marriage, and then blessing it to improve going forward and forward. I'll hand over to you, Mr. Lee.
Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we sit here. For me, on behalf of Mr. Zolong, CEO, I'm very happy. Actually, I stay in the Bakubung mine. It's about the more than 6 years. So since the 2017, I come here. I have confidence. We must. I first meet the Fosi. Fosi told me the Bakubung mine belong to Bakubung, also belong to the Lida. One mine belong to all shareholders. So in that time, I think I also told the management we must insist help community development. Just community along with the Bakubung is harmony. The mine can smoothly development. It means the one team, one target. In the past 10 years, everybody knows, due to the different reasons, many reasons. You know, in the past 10 years, we have developed 10 years more than up to now. Just phase 2 currently is phase 1, phase plant start the hot condition. But still, we haven't met the many issues. We are still deal with this issues. We hope June, to me, we hope June starts the hot commission. If we deal with the all issues, we will put into the production. Just the May production, the May can get the benefit. Yeah. You know, we come from the Jinchuan majority shareholder. Majority shareholder is a state company. It's have the 40,000 employees. It's produce the nickel. Its capacity is 200,000 tons. Its copper is 50,000 tons. It also produce the copper. 200,000. Copper is 1.2 million tons. It's also produce PGM. PGM is about the 7 tons PGM. Yeah. It's also located in the northwest of China. It's a state company. Yeah. You know, this is investment from the majority shareholder. Actually, in the past 10 years, due to the many reasons, the development is very delayed. At least is delayed more than, due to the COVID-19. The development is at least delayed 1 year and a half. 1 year and a half. So currently, research companies face many challenges. Yeah. So next year, in letters, I let my assistant help me. I wanted to talk some things. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
这个我们现在呢，就是马上就投产了，是吧？马上就投产了。我希望呢，就是现在目前呢，就是社企在我们的工作人数呢，就是大部分大概有40%多，可能具体的数字我可以知道。所以呢，今天在这里呢签署这个行动计划，就是我们非常高兴，呢，就是我们希望呢，将来呢，就是社企呢，多给我们的支持，多支持，然后呢，我们才能发展得更好，这是我想说的第一点。
The first point I would like to state is that we are going to put into production, and currently the employees from the community accounts for around 40% of the total employees, and we are very happy to sign this action plan, and I hope in the future we can get more support from the community.
我们呢也会呢，就是说是根据社企的根据这个社企的这个需要包括我们的包括现在的打水工程，包括其他基础设施工程呢，我们也尽我们八股帮的手，我们也会给社企呢提供更多的支持和帮助。
And we are always consider the needs and the requirements of the community, including the borehole project, and we are also glad to support the infrastructure construction of the community in the future.
第三点呢，就是说是，我就希望就是我们这个社企就是还是怎么说呢？就是说是受益嘛，就是随着我们矿产的发展，受益，所以我给人力资源的这个安排就是说是，我们还是尽量要多从社企招人，多让社企的人受益，这是我们这是我对我们团队的一个要求。
And I also hope that with the development of our mine, the community can benefit from our development. And I also request our HR department that we should recruit more local peoples.
现在呢，应该说是那个8月份啊，这个金砖峰会马上就召开了。因为这个金砖非有金砖5国呢，就是南非跟中国的关系比较好。我们那个习总书记呢，这个也会到南非来，所以呢，希望我们在这个两国友好的关系下呢，我们把我们这个八股帮这个项目进成一个中南两国矿商的一个友谊的一个桥梁，社企和谐，这个共同发展，这个矿商。
And as we know that in this August, the BRICS summit will take place in South Africa, and then the President Xi, Chinese President Xi Jinping will come to South Africa to attend this summit, and we have a long history of good friendship between the two countries. So I hope this project can be a bridge of friendship to to both countries, and I hope both our company and the local community can develop in harmony.
因为到目前为止是作为矿商来说，因为中国的南非的投资很多，包括就是说工商银行呀，Transnet 就交通包括其他的很多。但是在我们这个矿上，就是说我们中国的国有企业在南非投资一个 PMC， 包括萨曼口，包括那个加拉陶，大家可能知道那个加拉陶那个铂金矿但是呢，我们这个八股帮这个铂金矿呢，是我们中国在南非投资的第一个铂金技术矿商，也是目前为止投资最大的矿商。所以我刚才说了，为什么要把我们这个矿商进成为一个就是中南两国友谊的一个矿商我就希望呢，就是这个各个利益共同方的受益，最后呢就特别感谢火穗，感谢对接，感谢这个社企这个团队对我们这个八股帮矿商的支持再次感谢。
And as we know, China has invested a lot of projects in South Africa, such as the ICBC and the PMC and Samanco, and some other platinum mines. And the BPM project, the Bakubung project, is the first platinum project we have invested in South Africa with the largest investment amount. So I really wish this project can be a bridge of friendship, a long-term friendship for the people of both countries. And I wish all of us can benefit from it. We can have a win-win cooperation through this project. And I'd like to express my appreciation to Hossi and to DJ and to all people from the community. Thank you. Thanks for your support.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Mr. Lee. Such wonderful and very warm words of support. Also the commitment in ensuring that this friendship basically is not starting here between ourselves, the mine and the community. Even at the higher level between the two countries, the relationship is there. We really thank you for those kind words. As I'm standing here, we know that our next speaker, it will be the Hosi. But me, from where I come from, if you are an ordinary person, Mr. Lee, where I come from, if you are an ordinary person, you don't introduce the Hosi.
Kopa ntate Matsitse ke Khosana la Matsitswana bua nnete le nna ke advisor ko office mare nka se ka mo introduce so ntate Matsitse tshwantsa tle ko pele as far as amadi ene. Mr. Lee, what I was saying is that and also for Judy is that I also, he's right, I can't also, I'm an advisor, so I can't get into traditional protocol. So today we are going with one of the headmen. In Lida you have about 6 clans. There are 7 in fact. The first one, the senior clan, it's in the house of royal, and then there are other clans that are coming underneath. So Matsitse comes from one of the clans. Then he'll be able to take his duty just to introduce Khosi before we speak. I'm going just to ask this after Matsitse has introduced him. We shall just stand up as a show of respect. Whilst he's sitting, we'll stand up and then we can sit down and then he can speak afterwards.
Bagatso argumele tsena go ke le go ka dile ke di tuse ra mo gele go isa rona so mo le nda khotla a tlo rena ka le go
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning, Mr. Lee.
Morning.
Morning.
早上好，早上好。
Hope the director, Mr. Titi, and the management, Mr. Lee, but Moko Kana, the Kurukan, advisor, the Bosse, the bishop was in charge for the English at home. And the headman next to me, the Jiri Matsitse. Thank you. Mr. Lee, I thank you everybody. I'm happy for today. You have to come to our speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Titi, for coordinating us so much. We are coming to the gist of today. So Titi will have documents that we have. I thought you were going to put it here first so that people can see what we are talking about. We are coming to the signing now, where obviously on behalf of the mine, Mr. Lee, on behalf of the community, Khosi, and then internal stakeholder, Vusi will witness. We're going to witness also as office of Khosi that they will witness for Khosi. So Mr. Lee, obviously, definitely, he'll explain. I don't know from the side management, John is here to witness for you, to say that we have signed. So we have documents that we're taking this a very, very serious thing now. So today it's like it's oath taking now, that we have a commitment that will be actioning this action plan that we have today. So we'll exchange documents after the house. So one
Oh, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a quite long document. We cannot read it word for word, but this is how it looks like in terms of where it's going to be signed and approved for implementation by Wesizwe, BPM, and then also Khosi Solomon Mpupute Monna Khotla. And then as we go down, there will be witnesses on behalf of the BPM. there will be witnesses on behalf of the office of Hosi. There will be, on behalf of office of Hosi, there will be witnesses. On behalf of Bakubung internal stakeholder, witnesses. And then we didn't want to leave out our +1 stakeholder, which is the DMRE. As I've indicated that we will be taking this document to them as well, for them also to witness the implementation. However, before they sign, I wanted to come to this
Statement.
to this undertaking statement, of which members should know. Hey, this thing has a PowerPoint. So this is just before our principals are signing. So what are they signing is that we, the undersigned, Khosi Solomon Mpupute Monna Khotla of Bakubung Ratheo community, and Mr. Longzo, the chief executive of Wesizwe, in his absentia, as I've indicated, Mr. Lee is here, for and on behalf of our respective institutions or organizations, constituencies, with the support of the 4-a-side +1 committee, which constitute the Office of Khosi, Bakubung internal stakeholders, Bakubung Platinum Mine Management, and representatives from the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, which is DMRE. Hereby declare our commitment to the action plan and the implementation thereof in respect of all action items listed therein, as contemplated amongst others in relation to Bakubung Mine, the plant, the Gabonewe estate, in general to the contractors of Bakubung Mine, the plant, Gabonewe, and then not limited to the above. So this is the undertaking statement from our principals, as they will be attaching their signatures to the document.
I should study on behalf of Mr. Zokos. So what we'll do, Mr. Lee, you will take what you have, we can stand up and then give Khosi, and Khosi will give you this one. Yes. Smile. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you. Khosi, you can sign here, then on behalf, and then Tony, you can sign on the other one now. So that we can see that you didn't sign outside. Got some assistance. Johnny, you let's send you with Khosi.
Yes.
When I get invited to this one. That's not that the head on it.
Yeah.
And then Rekuka Iruna, Johnny, can you allow my other old
Yes,
to
sure.
come sit down? Sit this.
Hello.
The sign is away, I know so far we can sign that. We go out there to sign now. It's not a cosa, that's what to sign it.
Thank you very much. The most important item on the agenda, it was the official signing of the action plan. But as we all are aware, in each and every gathering, re na le item e re bitsa re ke vote of thanks le go bontsha gore no go na le kamano between the two parties. So I will be now introducing to you one of the members of the Foresight Committee, Ntate Vusinkosi, to give us the vote of thanks, and then which means that will be bringing us to the end of the official engagement of today, and then thereafter we will give announcement in terms of what happens after he has given us the vote of thanks. Renkosi, we're not 20 minutes this year.
30 seconds. Ke kobile go pele ga gago kgosi. Ke ka tlhompho ke rata go leboga tšhono e leng gore o tla bo re file yona mo Bakubung ba Ratheo mo motseng wa rona gore re bone gore ka thusa yang bo morwarre bo isa rona gore ka nnete motse wa rona o ne le tswelo pele o re tlhophile o re tshepa gore ka nnete re tla taboga re tabogela office re tabogela morafe gore re ya go diragatsa re le baromiwa ba gago jaaka ka jeko bona re fitlhile go teng fa ditokomane di nna mo pele ga gago tse di siameng tsa nnete tse e le gore re di dira yana re nna le tshepo le tumelo ya gore tse di latelang ka nnete go tla diragala se kana tokomane le fela go teng foo mathata gantsi naona o ka re itumetse re saena yana from the bele gore go fedile no ke a leboga kgosi Mr. Lee. Thank you. It's been a very long journey, very tough one. The first time we met, it wasn't an easy one. There were no smiles. But today we're standing here, we're sitting here with that smile, with that hope that indeed after this we'll see the fruits. We're busy planting, and now we want to see the fruits. We want to see the action indeed happening. We want to see the implementation thereof, of what we've been engaging on. I think that's what you want to see as well. You gave us all this opportunity to sit, to engage, all the blessings, but now we've come to a point whereby now you and Kosi will be continuing with other things. Now it becomes our responsibility to make sure that it really happens in the Bakubung Ratheo community. So with the blessings of my brother Ntate Beneke, we are very much hopeful that indeed things will happen. When we got our freedom, it wasn't an end, it was the beginning of the actual struggle. So hopefully once we start to implement and all of that, we're not going to have the load sheddings in between. We don't need load sheddings. We'll be able to do it the right way. Ntate Chilwane, re kopa re go bitsa Bakubung ka ne tu direla Bakubung dintwa tsa rona di fele ra lwa ga re tswela ko ntle ra bua gape ra buisana go nna right. Ke a kopa gore le wena ga o feta ka didaga a ko nne le something so tla se supang position e tshwereng se o tswa mo yone ga ise go ne le se one se le gore ba supa go monana wa sele se tlile ka nna ke ditse gore se diragale sa bo sa diragala re bile le di-GM tse dintsi. We had number of GMs from your side. My humble request, only one thing from your side, from your heart, that would say you sit with Mr. Lee and say, I want to have this one implemented. You make it happen. And then years from now, when you're passing through Leda, maybe you're going to Sun City or Bakubung, you can park your car and say, that thing is because of me. Not because of Foresight, but because of you.
It's an honor.
All that I ask of is the commitment from everyone. That's my humble request. I know right now when we live here, we cannot celebrate because there's nothing. we cannot celebrate. But we'll start celebrating when we start saying this is happening, that recruitment center that we spoke about. Let's prioritize things like those. And then the community can really see that things are really happening. We are those kind of people. We don't just, actually I didn't want to even to come and stand in front of everyone because I never say things are well when things are not well. Yeah, we're still bleeding. So the minute we start implementing, things start happening. And then in future when we come back and say we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, then I'll come here with a smile. Because we'll be saying, also be saying, bana ba tla le berekile. Gona no re tla go tsetsela mara sontse ra no re ya go bereka. Thank you very much. Ke a leboga.